Right now on Morning News Now, a dramatic shift as President Trump makes an urgent push to end the war in Ukraine. The president proposing the start of peace negotiations nearly 3 years after the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
President Putin wants peace, and President Zelensky wants peace, and I want peace. I just want to see people stop getting killed.
Plus, the Senate advancing 2 of the president's most controversial cabinet picks, and a judge reopening the president's controversial plan to cut the federal workforce. We have team coverage on it all. Developing this morning, a soggy start for much of the U.S. as millions of people wake up to a wintry mix of snow and rain, and Southern California's burn areas bracing for flooding. We are tracking the conditions from coast to coast. And a Hollywood-style plot twist over a new video apparently generated by AI featuring celebrities protesting rapper Kanye West. More on the fallout that's sparking a debate over free speech and tech. And cue the laughs. We're celebrating Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary with a look behind the scenes with one of the show's most important crew members.
All right,
see it right there.
Stoked for that. Good morning. I'm Sam Brock, in for Joe Fryer.
And I'm Savannah Sellers. Thanks so much for being with us. It really is amazing that they don't use prompter at Saturday Night Live. They use those cue cards.
Literally
Somebody has to write out the whole script.
later. It's like technology has evolved, but the cue cards remain.
Like one of those superstitious things, I think, there. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Thanks so much for starting your Thursday with us. We're going to get started with a dramatic shift in U.S. policy on the war between Russia and Ukraine as the conflict approaches its 3rd anniversary.
Yeah, Savannah. So here's the latest development. President Trump says he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday about starting negotiations to end the war in Ukraine. A Putin advisor says the call lasted about 90 minutes, with Putin inviting President Trump to visit Moscow. All of this coming following a sudden prisoner swap this week between the U.S. and Russia. Mr. Trump later spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, which Zelensky described as, quote, meaningful conversation as he looks towards the future. Speaking at a meeting of NATO defense ministers in Brussels, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the war must end.
I appreciate the opportunity to share President Trump's approach to the war in Ukraine. We are at, as you said, Mr. Secretary, a critical moment. As the war approaches its 3rd anniversary, our message is clear. The bloodshed must stop, and this war must end.
All right, we are going to have reaction ahead on these upcoming negotiations when we check in with the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor. But let's begin with NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, good morning. Let's start right now with that conversation between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. How did this call come about, first of all? And what did the president have to say about what kind of role Ukraine would potentially have in these negotiations?
Good morning, Sam and Savannah. This is one of the most compelling relationships on the world stage, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. The president for quite a while had been reluctant to say whether he had spoken to him or not. And now out in the open, he is discussing a lengthy meeting where they are planning for negotiations to end this war. What is a notable shift from the Biden years when the war began and President Biden assembled a coalition of NATO support to help Ukraine is the Biden administration would say nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine. Here, there's a real question about that. President Trump did speak to President Zelensky, but he has focused on the U.S. and Russia working toward a solution. And when he was specifically asked if Ukraine would be an equal partner, he called that a curious question and said that they need to work toward peace, and it's a war they never should have gotten into, ignoring the obvious that Russia invaded Ukraine and they had no choice except to defend themselves. So President Trump and President Putin are planning to have conversations, in-person meetings, and to have members of their teams begin conversations this week in Munich, where Vice President Vance is representing the president at the Munich Security Council. So Vladimir Zelensky is saying Russia does not appear to be preparing for peace because they've launched additional attacks. And yet this is a call now to change the nature of this conflict and to see if there's a path toward resolution.
Kelly, a major question here is what these borders would look like should a peace deal be reached. I mean, Ukraine has been super clear since the start that any peace deal must reestablish their previous borders with Russia. But what is the Trump administration saying about that?
Yes, and Zelensky also wants to have some security protections so that they would not find themselves back in conflict at some future date. Zelensky and Ukraine do not want to give up territory. The U.S. is saying, and President Trump is saying, that that has to be negotiated. And Pete Hegseth, speaking on behalf of the president, was saying that trying to go back to the original borders of Ukraine is unrealistic. That is certainly starting Ukraine at a deficit as these talks have yet to begin. So sort of pre-negotiating that Secretary Hegseth said there should be no NATO ascension for Ukraine, something they very much want, something that the Biden administration had believed could be attainable at some point, and that the boundaries would not be the original sovereign territory of Ukraine. So these are key issues. Is there a way to negotiate land for peace and some other kind of protection? That may be what will unfold here, but it is certainly not starting in the way Zelensky and Ukraine had hoped it would.
Yeah, so many layers, obviously, to those negotiations. Kelly, while we have you, what can you tell us about the decision by a federal judge yesterday, with so many of these federal workers right now in limbo, that would allow President Trump's fork in the road, so-called fork in the road offer for millions of federal workers to resign, to go forward? The plan to offer to mass buyouts that was previously halted, and I guess right now it appears to be an issue of legal standing?
That's right. So the judge who had put a pause on this program, which would allow people to defer their resignations, they could sign up for this and then be paid and get benefits for several months into the end of the fiscal year for the U.S. government, which is through September. And the judge is now saying that because unions that represent government workers had brought the suit, that the unions themselves do not have the standing. They don't have a stake in this like individual employees do. So after reviewing this, the judge is allowing the program to go forward. However, you could now envision a circumstance where individual federal employees would act as plaintiffs and bring this case. It's obviously easier for unions that have an apparatus and lawyers to make this initial claim. But for now, this program is going forward. The government says that it is now closed. They give us a number of about 65,000 federal employees who signed up for it. We don't have a way to confirm that number, but that's what we're being told of those who would like to exercise this opportunity. The other big question, Congress has not appropriated the money to pay them without work for the next several months. And so that's a question, too.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant question. No, Kelly, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, for more on the proposed peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, as we were just discussing, let's bring in former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor. Ambassador Taylor, always wonderful to have you with us. Thanks for your time. So I want to touch on a couple things that we just discussed there with Kelly. Part of this, the borders of Ukraine, what those may look like. We're actually hearing different messaging from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and President Trump when it comes to what Ukraine may have to give up in negotiations to end the war. And also, as Kelly mentioned, the president didn't give this clear answer when asked if Ukraine would be treated as an equal partner in these talks. What does that suggest to you about how this will go down and how the U.S. will approach these negotiations?
Well, Savannah, first of all, on the borders, on the question of borders, President Zelensky has already said that he is not able to take back all of the territory militarily from Russia. Russia has had about the same amount of Ukrainian territory, about 18%, for about 2 years. And President Zelensky will never give up, he says, his claim to all of that territory, all of the 1991 borders. But he has said that he can take part of that back militarily, which he has done right now, and held on to 80%, 82% of Ukraine. But he has said that that last 18%, he'll never give up legal claim. And we shouldn't acknowledge the Russian territory. We should not acknowledge Russian illegal occupation of that. But President Zelensky has said he can take that back diplomatically through negotiations over time. So it's not, I think that is not that big of a change on the border question.
We also know, Ambassador, that Ukraine's future security is such a huge component of all of this. And yesterday, Defense Secretary Hegseth basically ruled out the idea of Ukraine joining NATO. Yeah. It's part of the administration's new effort to offload responsibility for Ukraine's security to European nations. Now, you had written in the New York Times in October that peace depends on Ukraine's NATO membership. So I guess in your view, is that now off the table? And is lasting peace and security for Ukraine and for its neighbors, is it achievable without that?
I strongly believe, and I hear the defense secretary saying that Ukraine needs a strong security guarantee to be sure that the Russians don't invade again. Yes, I had thought and still do think that the right way, the best way, is for NATO membership. That will clearly take time. That'll take a long time. What Secretary Hexa said yesterday, however, was that the discussions about NATO membership for Ukraine will not be part of the negotiations. And that's right. Sam, that's exactly right. You don't want to discuss NATO membership for Ukraine with the Russians. That's certainly not part of the negotiation. That's a decision for Ukraine and NATO and individual European allies. The other thing that the Secretary Hexa said, was that the Europeans need to provide the bulk of the security guarantee. And it turns out, of course, as you've been reporting, that the British and the French and other Europeans have been having conversations about exactly how to do that, how to actually provide some kind of security guarantee with even European troops on the ground in Ukraine to be sure that the Russians don't invade again. So this is the way that the negotiations may go.
Ambassador William Taylor, I'm sure we'll be talking to you again as this all unfolds. Thanks for joining us.
All right, back now in Washington, Savannah, the criminal defense attorney who represented President Trump in his hush money case now facing some pretty tough questions over his ability to remain apolitical and impartial if he is confirmed for the powerful role of Deputy Attorney General. NBC News' Laura Jarrett has the full details.
The United States Department of Justice must protect this nation.
President Trump's former personal attorney turned top DOJ nominee clashing with Democratic lawmakers on Capitol Hill.
I will follow the rules as told to me by the experts, career prosecutors in the department when it comes to every recusal.
I've heard that.
But it's true.
Well, it may be true in the abstract.
No, it's not abstract. It's true.
Well, senators also pressing Todd Blanche on everything from President Trump's recent executive orders to the abrupt firing of several watchdogs across multiple federal agencies.
Do you think he broke the law by firing these attorneys general, these inspectors general?
I don't know. I wasn't part of the decisions that he and the White House counsels made.
8 of those federal watchdogs fired by Mr. Trump banding together in a new lawsuit arguing the president failed to give Congress a 30-day heads up required by law.
IGs are independent. We're nonpartisan, which means that we are the taxpayers' advocates within each of government agencies.
The legal challenges to the president's efforts to reshape the government mounting. The administration now racking up more than 50 civil lawsuits since Inauguration Day on everything from the use of Guantanamo Bay to proposed funding freezes. Judges across party lines issuing injunctions bringing a halt to nearly a dozen different Trump policies or actions.
I follow the courts. I have to follow the law. Hopefully the courts will be fair. They don't have to be very fair. They just have to be a little bit fair because this is so egregious what's taken place.
While a sitting member of the highest court, Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, now warning of the dangers of an erosion to the rule of law.
Court decisions stand whether one particular person chooses to abide by them or not. It doesn't change the foundation that it's still a court order that someone will respect at some point.
Interesting words from a Supreme Court justice there. Our thanks to Laura Jarrett for that report.
Well, a full Senate vote is planned for later today on President Trump's controversial nominee, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. This comes after Tulsi Gabbard was sworn in as Director of National Intelligence. Meanwhile, Democrats in Congress are demanding more answers about Elon Musk's role in the Trump White House. NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello has the latest from Washington.
President Trump back in the Oval Office one day after an extraordinary appearance with Elon Musk.
I want to commend Elon because he's done he doesn't need this. You know, he's abused by you people every day.
Outlining his plans to reshape the government. While on Capitol Hill, the House subcommittee that oversees Musk's Department of Government Efficiency is searching for answers from DOJ employees. Republicans defend the cutbacks and the firings.
President Trump won an electoral landslide with a clear mandate from the American people to eliminate Washington waste.
Democrats want an in-person explanation from Musk, but Republicans blocked that.
come and testify in front of the American people under oath, because we want to know what you're up to.
Doge says it's looking to save taxpayers money, but inflation numbers suggest Americans are already paying more.
Welcome to the age of Trumpflation.
The cost of almost everything ticked up last month. President Trump blamed former President Biden for inflation, despite promising this as a candidate.
I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one.
Yeas are 52, nays are 48. Nomination is confirmed.
Better news for President Trump. His controversial pick to lead the intelligence community has been confirmed. Nearly all Republicans voted to confirm Tulsi Gabbard, despite concern that Gabbard made sympathetic comments about Russia, supported Edward Snowden, who leaked classified information, and had no experience in the intelligence community. Only Senator Mitch McConnell joined Democrats in opposition.
Our thanks to Tom Costello for that report.
All right, so 2 U.S. Navy crew members ejected safely, thankfully, before their fighter jet crashed into the San Diego Bay. This happened on Wednesday. Look at this. That's the moment that the U.S. Navy Growler plunged into the water near Shelter Island yesterday morning. Luckily, the 2 service members on board had already both ejected before the crash and were quickly pulled from the water, get this, by a nearby fishing boat. The extent of their injuries was not disclosed at the time, but the military said that they are in stable condition. The cause of that crash is under investigation.
Just more and more air incidents
so
we keep having to tell you about. All right, well, now let's get to the latest winter storm. It's slamming parts of the country with heavy snow, ice, and freezing temperatures.
Kind of experienced this firsthand, actually.
Lovely.
This morning, tens of millions of people are under winter weather alerts as the storm is set to dump even more snow on states from the upper Midwest to northern New England. Meantime, out west, California bracing for what could be its biggest storm of the season that's packing heavy rains. Some of the areas scarred by the wildfires around Los Angeles are bracing for the risk of flash floods and mudslides from the storm. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa.
Jinx is in Chicago with more for us. Maggie, good morning. I feel for you. I feel like every time I've seen a TV in the last 24 hours, you've been out there. So hopefully you've been getting more mess. Well,
you're not wrong.
You know, yesterday I saw some of the snow falling on you.
Poor Maggie.
I know. This hat, I had to throw my hat in the dryer. Like, that's how dire it got out here, guys. And Savannah, I feel your pain. Yeah, it is crazy how fast this snow came down yesterday in Chicago. We had nothing on the ground, for reference, 24 hours ago. And now we had nearly the largest snowfall of the entire season. And really, it came down roughly in the course of like 6 to 8 hours. So it was really rapid. Across the Midwest, across the upper Great Plains, we saw highways, roads were a mess. Air travel was a mess. We had well over close to 5,000 delays, topping that by the time I got close to midnight last night. So it was just a mess across the country, really. And as you said, it's just been a relentless week of winter weather. We had that storm earlier this week pounding the East Coast. Yesterday, it was kind of the Midwest and Great Plains who got hit. And people here, even in this region, who are used to this kind of weather, were really caught off guard. Here's some of what we heard.
I was kind of surprised because I didn't know snow could fall that fast.
You didn't know snow could fall that fast?
Same.
Yeah, this definitely feels like the most this winter. He and I are from Minnesota, and so we're used to the snow. We're used to the cold and the snow, and certainly getting shades of that here.
Yeah, so here in the Midwest, as we said, we're used to this, but even for us, this was a lot. Guys, one of the sort of more dire headlines across the region as well, in Virginia, well over 100,000 people were without power thanks to falling trees. That happened as a result of this storm. Crews, thankfully, have been working rapidly to get that power turned back on, and they made a lot of progress. But it really caused chaos across a huge part of the country, guys.
Yeah, tens of thousands of people there. I also, by the way, was very interested in Maggie's hat game, which is stupendous, by the way. Maggie, let's turn for a second to the storm that's going on the West Coast here, bringing all this drenching rain. It's been a little bit more than a month since the Southern California wildfires, which, of course, left behind thousands of acres of bare ground. So now in the coming days, having that context, how worried are officials about the threat of dangerous mudslides and flash floods?
They're really worried. We saw officials in Santa Barbara County issuing an evacuation warning, just letting people know if they're still in that area, because keep in mind, a lot of people haven't been able to go back home. Like, it's not livable, as you can see, but just letting them know that the peak of these rainstorms is expected to hit today, with some forecasters saying they could see up to an inch per hour falling. Of course, you're looking at file video of the burned area. This is now getting slammed by that deluge of rain. But, it's worth noting, scientists say whenever you've had a burned area, and guys, we know this well, any kind of rain, any significant amount of rainfall can make it really susceptible to mudslides because everything has been loosened. A lot of the plant life has been killed, and those roots help solidify it. So this is a really dire situation that, of course, our forecasters and our teams out west will be watching closely throughout the next 24 to 48 hours.
All right, Maggie, please go inside. We appreciate you being out there. Thank you so much.
All right, and of course, no rest for the weary right now. As Maggie was suggesting, let's get a closer look at how these stormy conditions may impact you with our Morning News Now weather.
Yeah, Angie Lastman's here in studio with us. Hi, Angie, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning to you. We've got plenty of alerts still up as far as the winter storm is concerned across parts of the east. 26 million people, mainly focused across parts of the northeast, and we've got a couple of these still hanging on in parts of Michigan. These are going to start to expire as that system works farther away, but we've still got some rain across parts of the Appalachians, parts of the south, stretching from the mid-Atlantic down south. And then, of course, this wintry mix that's kind of hanging out in the northern portions of New England. This is going to exit through the day, but we'll still be left with some of these lingering snow showers. So we're not completely done with the system just yet, but we're going to see those improvements as the day goes on. This is going to be something you'll notice. We'll still see some of those kind of cold winds bringing in some of that lake effect snow downwind of the Great Lakes. And that's where you'll see those highest amounts. The brighter pinks, that's about 8 inches, less than that farther away from the lakes. Otherwise, the ice still accumulating in those northern portions of New England. This is, again, going to make travel difficult, especially this morning for folks there. But we will see those improvements as the day goes on. Still some flash flood alerts up right now, 19 million people included in those as we kind of wrap up the rain there. But then we go out west, and as Maggie mentioned, this is our next storm system that we're going to watch through the day today and potentially down the line as we get into the next couple of days. 32 million people under flood alerts, and notice there's flash flood warnings in parts of Northern California and Central California. Those are just going to continue to be added on. So unlike the winter alerts that are going to continue to expire, these alerts out west, I think, are going to be added on through the day, today specifically, and maybe even into tomorrow. Big picture look, this system arrives here through our afternoon hours today, but notice all the heavy rain. It's not just one part of California. This is really going to be affecting most of the state with the heavy rain and that mountain snow. Of course, they need the rain, so this is, a positive in some aspects, but we, of course, have been talking about the burn scar areas, and that's where we'll see that biggest risk for some flash flooding through the day today and potentially lasting into tomorrow. Notice the rain kind of wraps up, especially in Southern California, where we're most concerned, but we'll still see some of that snow and kind of lingering rain showers across parts of California and shifting east into parts of the Rockies. Now, rainfall totals, 1 to 3 inches for the coasts and the valleys. That still is enough to really cause problems when it comes to flooding concerns in that region. The ground just not going to absorb a whole lot of that. We do have, of course, higher amounts that we're going to expect for the coastal mountainous regions, 6 to 10 inches. You can see places south of Victorville, east of Los Angeles. That's where some of those higher amounts are going to be, guys. But this will be something that we watch through tomorrow. And then we've got another storm system that we'll watch across the country and impact folks for really the whole country as we get into the weekend.
And these poor folks in Southern California now to deal with another potential crisis.
Exactly.
Everything that's happened in the last few weeks.
Indeed.
So scary. Angie, thank you so much. We'll see you next hour. There's much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, in the red, more Americans say they owe more on their credit cards than they actually have in savings in case of an emergency. The findings from an eye-opening new survey.
Up first, after the break, major developments out of the Middle East. Hamas says it will now move forward with plans to release hostages. We'll have the very latest. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And we are back now with new developments in this fragile ceasefire in Gaza and the plan for Hamas to return more hostages.
Yeah, just moments ago, actually, a Hamas spokesperson said the latest round of talks are over and they are planning to keep everything on schedule.
NBC News correspondent Yasmin Vasugian joining us now from Tel Aviv with more. Yasmin, good morning. So just moments ago, really, Hamas wrapping up the latest round of talks about the plan to release more hostages on Saturday. Yeah. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, and again, I want to reiterate to you guys, this is the Mideast. These are incredibly fragile negotiations. Things could change on a dime. So while we're hearing at this moment Hamas releasing a statement that they wrapped up talks in Egypt, and then, in fact, they're going to move forward with releasing these hostages come Saturday, things could change. So I want to keep kind of everybody's expectations clear here when we're going into this thing. One of the reasons it seems as if they are now willing to release the hostages come Saturday is the ask for humanitarian aid. If you remember the 3 reasons in which they pointed out as to why they were withholding the release of the hostages, one of them was humanitarian aid. One was free passage of Palestinians from the south to the north, and there was other reasons as well, and continued shelling and shooting inside Gaza. We are now seeing hundreds of trucks lined up at the Rafah border crossing. Remember, that is in Egypt. That is one of the major crossings into Gaza. I would say the biggest crossing into Gaza. We have not heard word as to whether or not those trucks have been able to make it into Gaza as of yet. Right now, they are still at the Rafah border crossing on the Egypt side, waiting to go in. We're talking about caravans, mobile homes, tents, bulldozers as well. These were the asks of Hamas. Hamas also saying these were actually laid out in phase one of the ceasefire deal as being required to be provided for the Gazans as they begin to rebuild. We reached out to the Prime Minister's office amidst all of this to get a statement because they are now saying that actually no aid is allowed in through the Rafah border crossing. To be clear, we have seen continued aid and trucks going in through the Rafah crossing throughout this entire phase one of the ceasefire. However, that was food and water. It wasn't necessarily these real rebuilding materials and caravans and mobile homes. So we're still trying to get clarity on that at this moment. But again, an incredibly tenuous moment as we await to see what comes next in getting this aid into Gaza, guys.
Yasmin, let's talk a little bit more. You mentioned some of the supplies, the tools needed to do this, but what does the rebuilding process look like? What are Palestinians saying as they return to where their homes once were?
So it's twofold. First and foremost, we've heard about this coalition that's being built amongst the Arab countries like the UAE, Qatar, Egypt, Jordan, obviously, King Abdullah being in Washington just 2 days ago as well. Egypt kind of laying out this very rough plan of what the rebuilding process would look like, maintaining the fact that Palestinians must remain inside Gaza in spite of what the president has said that Palestinians should leave and the U.S. occupy Gaza. That plan would look a little bit like a 3 to 5 year rebuilding period. They would start in the south and they would move north. We're going to hear more details on that plan next week, they said, because there's going to be a convening of the Arab countries to talk about that. But for Gazans inside Gaza, right, they have said repeatedly they want to remain inside Gaza. This is their homeland. This is where they live. And they want to rebuild after the massive amount of destruction that we have seen, especially in the north of Gaza, where the majority of the war has taken place. Let's take a little listen to some of the Palestinians that spoke to our brave team on the ground in Gaza, and then we'll talk on the other side.
We really don't want anything other than what was agreed upon and to live in peace.
First of all, we hope this crazy war ends forever. But if this prisoner exchange fails between the Palestinian resistance and Israel, the suffer will come back, the hunger will come back, the fear will back, and we don't know what will happen.
Today we are waiting to Hamas continue this agreement and never come back to war.
So again, I think we're going to be looking for that humanitarian aid to come in, especially kind of the bulldozers, the caravans, the tents that they desperately need. I mean, if you think about the images that we've seen coming out of North Gaza, they don't have roofs over their heads, right? And we've had pretty bad weather here over the last 72 hours or so. And so those are desperately needed. But then the rebuilding process for that to begin, they need those materials to get across the border as well. So again, fragile, tenuous, can't think of it. Another word to describe kind of what we're going through here right now, guys.
And just absolutely critical resources, as you outlined there. Thank you so much, Yasmin.
Let's get to some breaking news this morning. This is out of Germany. Dozens are injured after a car plowed into a crowd in Munich.
Yeah, still developing here. NBC's Matt Bodner joining us with more details on that and other headlines from around the globe. Matt, good morning.
Sam, Savannah, good morning. At least 20 are injured, several of them critically in Munich this morning. The driver of the car in question was detained on the scene, and a major police operation then took place in central Munich. The incident happened in an area that was being used for a rally by a local transport union, though it is not immediately clear that the two are linked. Munich this weekend is also hosting the annual Munich Security Conference, and this is one of the most important international political meetings of the year. Many global leaders in attendance, for example, Vice President J.D. Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky are arriving in Munich today. Moving along now to Taiwan. 4 are dead and another 26 people are injured after a gas explosion in an upscale department store. The incident took place in Taichung City on the 12th floor of the store, and the explosion blew out windows on those upper floors, sending shards of glass and debris flying onto the streets below. It was not clear what caused the explosion at this time, but the part of the store is currently under renovation. Authorities say that they will investigate whether or not the work was somehow linked with the gas explosion. And we'll wrap up this hour in Canada, where someone appears to have gone through a terrible breakup. A British Columbia-based breeder of endangered owls has launched a unique Valentine's Day donation drive. For just $5 Canadian, you can have a dead rat named after a former lover or simply someone you don't like, and receive a picture of an owl eating said dead rat. It's for a good cause, though. This breeding program is working to save the spotted owl, which is teetering dangerously close to extinction. Back to you guys.
So violent.
No reg rats. That's the best headline I've ever seen. Matt, thank you so much.
It's good. Yeah, who did that? All right, Matt, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
What are you going to say to that? I don't know what the follow-up is. Coming up next, though, a serious story now. A new fake video protesting rapper Kanye West, sparking a new debate over fakes and artificial intelligence.
But after the break, why some celebrities featured in that AI-generated video say it's doing more harm than good. Stay with us. You're watching Morning News Now. Welcome back. If you watched the Super Bowl over the weekend, you might have seen an ad, and it's renewing a heated debate over free speech and also sparking outrage over the kind of discourse taking place online.
And almost certainly this has been in your feeds as well. The ad from rapper Kanye West only aired in several markets, but it's generated nationwide backlash. Now a new video of AI-generated celebrities who appear to be opposing West is going viral, fueling a new debate over free speech and artificial intelligence. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz has all the details.
Controversy within the growing controversy over Kanye West and his anti-Semitic comments. A new video circulating online appearing to show Jewish celebrities protesting the rapper who now goes by Ye. But the video is a fake, seemingly created without the artist's consent and made with artificial intelligence. Actress Scarlett Johansson, who is depicted in the video, denouncing it, saying, "I am a Jewish woman who has no tolerance for anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind, but I also firmly believe that the potential for hate speech multiplied by AI is a far greater threat." One of the people behind the video saying it was not created for commercial purposes, but rather as an artistic and cultural statement. The video comes on the heels of West's latest anti-Semitic insult, selling swastika T-shirts on the website for his clothing brand, which he advertised in select markets during the Super Bowl, igniting instant outrage.
I was shocked.
The website now shut down, but West's voice and hateful declarations recently back on the very social media sites that just a few years ago restricted him because of his rhetoric. Although a spokesperson for West says he has now deactivated his X account, it's all part of what tech columnist Joanna Stern says is a growing trend to dial back on content moderation.
What we're seeing from both Meta and X is this move to more of a free speech, embracing that people can say what they want and that it is on the community to come out and say that is not right, or that is not right, or that is not truthful.
With much of the speech online protected by the law, many now calling for common sense decency. Actor David Schwimmer posting, "I don't know what's worse, the fact that West identifies as a Nazi or the fact that there is not sufficient outrage to remove and ban him from all social media at this point." From AI to hate speech, the controversies igniting renewed discussions about what is or should be allowed online. Liz Kreutz, NBC News.
Our thanks to Liz for that report. Well, for more, let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Angela Senadella. Angela, great to have you with us. So many legal questions here. And Scarlett Johansson, who was mentioned in that piece, she's been calling for more guardrails, for more legislation when it comes to this, saying something like this is a misuse of AI. What is in place? And I know it's maybe not very much. I know it's kind of a patchwork across the country because it's not just something like this. It's also like these deep fakes that are also AI generated, like nude fake images of people or videos. And there's not a lot that can be done.
Yes, that's exactly right. And that is why I think Scarlett Johansson is asking for new legislation to be changed. She's not asking for prosecutors here to actually prosecute or investigate. That's because right now this is largely legal with few exceptions. And those exceptions usually contain two things. One, if there's intent to deceive. So here, the fact that the content creators had this disclaimer that says AI generated really protects them. They're not trying to impersonate these people directly. And second, it's really only illegal if there's some direct harm attached to it. So for example, in pornographic situations, some states have criminalized that if there's direct reputational harm, or if you're impersonating someone in order to commit a fraud or to scam someone else. But otherwise, this is largely considered artistry. It's considered freedom of expression or parody. We've seen it with the election, so many presidential candidates, like in dances.
Yeah, and also such a good point about the fact that it says AI generated on the actual video, and yet it looks so convincingly
really real.
We were just talking about that. So I guess my question is, are there any legal tools at Scarlett Johansson's disposal or anyone else that wants to try to take this to court?
So here's the thing. Anytime that anybody does something that harms you in some way, there's always a potential cause of action in a civil lawsuit. But there has to be some harm. So if she could prove that there was either a reputational harm or some sort of loss of income attached to this, she could certainly find a cause of action to sue in court.
Let's also talk about the free speech piece of this. Kanye West's X account is now deactivated, but prior to that, I mean, it was just hate being spewed for multiple days in a row. We should mention that that ad that aired during the Super Bowl, it sent you to a website. What was available there was a shirt with a swastika for sale. Where is the line drawn between free speech and between hate speech, or between something that is potentially something that you have some legal ramifications?
Yeah, that's a great question. So hate speech in general in this country is largely protected under this robust First Amendment, right? However, that only prevents the government from stopping your speech. That in no way affects what a private company or a social media company can and should do in limiting speech on that platform. It's the same as like if you're in a restaurant, they can kick you out if you say something offensive. So in private boundaries, that company can do what it wants, which is why X has removed him.
But there are still sort of ethical considerations, it sounds like you're saying here, in terms of social media companies that are platforming videos that can be offensive.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, Angela. Great to have you with us. Well, coming up, more Americans are spending more than they save. When we come back, the new survey that shows people are falling behind with their emergency savings.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's the cue card guy. We're going to take you behind the scenes with one of the most important members of the SNL team, live from New York. This is Morning News Now. I cannot take credit for that.
Welcome back. Let's get you some money news. We're going to start with some pretty troubling new numbers on America's relationship with credit card debt.
Yeah, not necessarily shocking, but CNBC's Silvana Henao has those numbers and other news for your wallet this morning. Good morning, Silvana.
Sam, Savannah, good morning to you. Yes, so a third of Americans say they have more credit card debt than emergency savings. Now, that is down slightly from the past 2 years, but it is still notably higher than the previous decade. A new Bankrate survey finds more than half of adults say they have more savings than credit card debt, while 13% have no debt, but also no savings. And for the first time since Bankrate started asking this question, more people report increasing instead of decreasing their emergency savings. And Bankrate says this shows that as inflation has slowed, that's allowed people to make progress in building their savings. California fast food staple In-N-Out is closing its main office in Irvine as the company plans to split its corporate workforce between the Golden State and Tennessee. In-N-Out says most of its corporate employees will move from Orange County to an office in Los Angeles, where the chain was founded in 1948. It's been in Irvine for the past 30 years. It will open an office in Nashville next year as it looks to expand by possibly opening more than 30 locations in Tennessee. And you can now order Stranger Wings the next time you're in Las Vegas. The new Netflix Spice restaurant has opened inside the MGM Grand, where it will operate for a year. It offers breakfast, lunch, and dinner options, such as tea service inspired by Bridgerton, those aforementioned wings, nachos crafted by Things from Wednesday, and a Love is Blind cocktail where you combine flavors for a surprise. Netflix opened a pop-up restaurant in Los Angeles back in 2023.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I remember that before. There's a huge line.
Now it's in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will absolutely be a huge attraction, and Love is Blind cocktails, I'm not going to lie. Love that show.
Yeah,
I would absolutely order
Yeah.
whatever cosmopolitan that is.
Same. Do you love that show?
I do.
Out of your gold goblet?
The goblets are all, those are also like a
He's a true
staple on the
fan.
show.
That was a test.
I'm glad I passed the test.
Silvana, thank you very much. You got it.
All right, so as we mentioned, big haps, Savannah, here at 30 Rock, because we have a big event coming up. We're only 3 days away now from the 50th anniversary of the highly anticipated SNL anniversary.
That's right. This Sunday, while writers, cast members, and celebrity guests gear up for the big night, another essential team is going to be hard at work behind the scenes. You're seeing it right now on your screen. They are the Cue Card crew. That's right. They do not use a prompter here. It's kind of amazing. NBC News reporter Mark Barger sat down with the leaders of this unsung group to discuss how they transform sketch comedy from the scripts and from the last-minute changes into these jumbo-sized cue cards. It really is such an amazing thing.
It is amazing, and it's just crazy, and it's intense, and it's just the volume of cards they have to generate is just mind-blowing. For decades now, teleprompters, like the ones we're reading from, have replaced cue cards as the mainstay of live television. But SNL remains a holdout, doing things the old-fashioned way.
I got no cue cards, man. What am I going to do?
Way back in 1982, host Michael Keaton feigned a freakout that SNL might not have its trusty cue cards, something the show has tweaked itself about.
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm reading a cue card right now.
But even as SNL has evolved into the digital era, this remnant of TV's earliest days remains essential.
The show would truly not be able to run without them.
That's because sketches are constantly being revised, even while the show's on air.
Make those changes fast, make them accurate, and swap them out and keep them all in order. I don't know how they do it.
Wally Ferriston knows.
It's all about spacing.
He's been doing it for 35 years.
Wally, lower the cards.
He leads a team of 10 who write, keep track of, and update roughly 1,000 cue cards per episode.
The host for SNL each week is in black. They're the only one that's in black, so they know their lines stand out. And then the other cast members share red, blue, green, and brown.
Occasionally, rookie hosts start their week mistakenly thinking they'll memorize everything and won't need cue cards.
And then on Friday, they'll kind of come up and say, hey, if I wanted to use the cards, where would you be? And by Saturday, they're like, all right, I'm using the cards, because they just don't understand how much the show is rewritten and changes.
It's basically too much content to rely on teleprompters that aren't always reliable.
So they break and things happen. So cards don't break.
But that's not to say the cue cards are immune from trouble.
The cards fell down.
The cards fell down? Yeah. That's like your full nightmare, Wally.
That happened on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and SNL 40 was nearly disastrous.
I wasn't smart enough to wear sneakers instead of the tuxedo shoes. So not only was I holding like these sets of cards, there were 100 cards, I was slipping because the shoes were slippery.
Ferriston's braced for Sunday's SNL 50 special that could have as many as 2,500 cue cards, requiring 5 extra staffers to manage them.
I'm excited. I'm nervous just because of the amount of work it is, but it's special. It really is special.
And special for me to say, almost.
Live from New York, it's Mark Barger, NBC News.
Cute.
Now, ordinarily, we would have done that interview with Wally in his cue card area of Studio 8H, but yesterday they started doing these super secret rehearsals for Sunday's show, so we had to find an alternate location.
It's so interesting. I've been lucky enough to get to talk with some past cast members this week in the lead up to this, and they're all so tight-lipped, and they even say, like, look, I think I'm in it, but things could be cut at the last minute. We have no details yet about what's going to happen Sunday.
Well, for SNL 40, which I covered, a lot of the cast did not know until Friday or even Saturday. The one person who did know ahead of time what he was doing was Dan Aykroyd. He had a month. And he said all I did was just give him a month to be nervous about what he was doing.
Wow, he had a cheat sheet there. By the way, I do feel like the amount of work that you just laid out, it's done just on the cue cards. Forget about just the cast member introduction at the top of SNL. Yeah. We should be finding out who's doing the work behind the scenes as well. They almost deserve their own intros.
I mean, Wally says he has to get cortisone shots in his shoulder from holding the cue cards.
I would believe it.
Yeah.
All right, hazard of the job, I guess. Mark, thank you. That was a fascinating look. Well, nearly 60 years ago, one musician broke barriers in the industry when she became the first woman to join the New York Philharmonic full-time. Now, Orin O'Brien's remarkable journey is taking center stage. It is the focus of a documentary short called The Only Girl in the Orchestra. And get this, it's directed by her niece, Molly O'Brien. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with both these women and talk about the film and O'Brien's career. Molly and Orin, good morning. Thank you both so much for being here. It is so fabulous to have you. So excited to talk about this film. Orin, if you wouldn't mind, we go back to Leonard Bernstein hiring you to be, just like the title of this film says, the only girl in the orchestra. How much did that fact weigh on you?
Not at all, because I already had 10 years professional experience working as a professional musician in New York. I was a member of New York City Ballet for 10 years. I had worked in the Metropolitan Opera for 5 years, the old building, which was down at 40th Street and Broadway. And I had a lot of experience. I played Falstaff at the Met, at the old Met with Bernstein. I had subbed for a couple of weeks with the Philharmonic in 1961, so I had already worked with him. He knew my work because one of my colleagues in the Philharmonic bass section had given him a record that we both made of the Gunther Schuller Quartet for 4 basses. And Bernstein even picked out, he said, who is playing the third bass part? Whoever that is has good rhythm. And it was me. So I think he was predisposed to understand that I was a well-prepared musician when I played. So it was not, to me, the focus shouldn't have been on girly stuff. It should have been on the musical preparation that led up to my being accepted in the orchestra. And there were several members of the Philharmonic that already had joined the orchestra before I did that were from New York City Ballet that I knew because we worked together in City Ballet. So I had friends in the orchestra already, people that I knew that I had worked with before. So it was not, to me, the big deal of the PR that was done at the time. There was a lot of PR, which I was glad to do because it meant that the orchestra was featured in different reviews. So that was good. It's a good thing.
I love this, the relationship between you both. Molly, you have done some incredible work here with our NBC News studios, but probably not one where you're focusing, getting to profile a member of your own family, your aunt. How special was that?
Well, I mean, growing up, Orrin was the adult I admired most, and I've had a little voice in the back of my head telling me to make a documentary film about her for about 10 years. Oh, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am that it's gone this far. I mean, the work that I do in the last 5 years at NBC News Studios as a producer of documentary films there has been some of the best work of my career. And I know from that work that, in general, when you make a film about a relative who plays a double bass, you should not expect it to go very far. But here we are with an Oscar nomination it's on Netflix. It's just thrilling. It's thrilling.
Exactly what I wanted to ask you about was just a reaction to that, to get an Oscar nomination.
It's bananas. And the film is very good. I understand that. I'm not, going to be too humble about that. I think it's a fantastic movie. She's an amazing protagonist, a reluctant protagonist, but still an amazing protagonist. And she's given me such a gift. She's given the world a gift by sharing her life.
In reading about this, I saw that theme that you just mentioned, the reluctant to kind of take the spotlight. Why was that, and what changed your mind?
Well, a bass player is usually in the background. It's very rare, unless you're a jazz player, and then you're one of 3 musicians, usually in a trio, or you have a solo in a band or something. But the bass is seldom featured in a symphony orchestra of 106 people, which is a number of people in the New York Philharmonic. So I felt the attention, because I was female, was not on music, and I was a little upset by that. So, of course, this was a refocusing on that aspect of it, which upset me a bit. I wanted to be focused on music, the double bass, the beauty of ensemble playing, and teaching, which means you pass on the things you learned from your teacher, which means you're passing on civilization, basically, which is what a teacher does, which I admire.
When Leonard Bernstein hired Orrin as the first woman to play full-time in the New York Philharmonic in 1966, she sort of didn't have a choice. She was thrust into the spotlight then by the Philharmonic because she was the first woman, and that's an interesting story. And now I'm doing it to you again. But I think it's all for the right reasons. Yeah. Orrin agreed to be in the film because I promised her, and I believe I kept my promise, that I would elevate the double bass, that I would elevate classical music, and that I would feature teaching, which is really what is in her heart, which is teaching. She's such an amazing teacher. So we put all those things in the film, and hopefully we're going to gain some classical music fans along the way.
There you go. Orrin and Molly, thank you so much. Congratulations on the film and on the Oscar nomination. Just incredible.
Thank you.
Pleasure's meeting you.
I mean, the sweetest, and just how neat their relationship and it, work that turns into an Oscar nomination.
I love that her own niece was able to profile history. It's such a beautiful conversation. Well
Absolutely.
done, Savannah.
She said it. She was always her favorite adult. I love that.
And that's proof. Coming up next, they are rocking and rolling into history.
Up next, we'll introduce you to this year's nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Morning News Now. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. This year's list of nominees to join the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is now public. Among the 14 performers up for induction are Bad Company, the Black Crowes, Mariah Carey, and Joe Cocker, among others. More than half of the nominees are on the ballot for the very first time. For more on this, let's bring in Joe Lynch. He is the Executive Digital Director of Billboard. Joe, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Tell us more about some of these nominees who made the list, and obviously people are going to want to know. Any snubs or surprises?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's an interesting class. You know, we've got the White Stripes, who are, you know, one of the most influential bands, rock bands of the last 25 years or so. Outkast, who it's kind of crazy aren't in there already. Soundgarden, who were one of the biggest grunge bands of the 90s. Manya, who is one of the first, actually the first Spanish rock band to only perform in Spanish to get nominated. So that's a pretty historic first. And then, of course, Oasis, who recently announced a reunion tour. So it's entirely possible they'll get in. And Cyndi Lauper is another one, you know, just an icon of pop, rock, and new wave. It's kind of hard to believe that she isn't in there already.
Time after time, you would think she would be timeless at this point. Nice. You know, I'm curious, Joe, you know, you're just such an eclectic range of musicians there, right? What factors are taken into account when the Hall is making this list? What makes a band or an artist eligible for induction?
Certainly, you know, for someone to get into the Rock Hall, they have to have had some commercial success, but it's definitely not just that. There's an element that their music needs to have influenced people for, you know, generations to come, essentially. You know, so having 10 #1 hits isn't enough. You have to have proven that, you know, singers and bands that came after you, you know, that essentially that you change people's lives. And I think so many of the people in this class you could say that of.
There has to be a cultural imprint there that goes well beyond the artist's years. I guess Mariah Carey, right? You mentioned her. Could be the most successful artist not to make it into the Hall so far, one of the greatest vocalists of all time. Last year, she joked that her lawyer, Alan Grubman, got in before she did. So is Mariah a shoo-in for induction this time around?
Oddly enough, I don't think she's a shoo-in. I do think she will eventually get in. This is her second nomination. For whatever reason, you know, Radiohead, a super acclaimed band, isn't in the Rock Hall yet. So a lot of times you see these names on the ballot multiple times before they actually get in. But yes, she's got 19 #1 hits. She's a singer-songwriter as well. I think it goes underreported that she also writes a lot of her own stuff. So it's pretty remarkable what she's done in the business. And I think eventually she will for sure get in. If it's not this year, it'll be the next time.
All right, 19 #1 hits there. Joe Lynch with Billboard. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Hard to pick, my gosh.
I know, but Mariah, you would think she's going to make.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for this hour of Morning News Now.
Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I'm Savannah Sellers.
And I'm Sam Brock, keeping Joe Fryer's seat warm today. Right now on Morning News Now, pushing for peace. This morning, renewed calls for a diplomatic close to Russia's war on Ukraine. President Trump, fresh off of conversations with the leaders of both nations, looking to kickstart negotiations in the hopes of bringing an end to years of violence. But could it all lead to Ukraine being forced to give up land? We've got the very latest. Also this morning, a whirlwind week of winter weather marches on with a 1-2 punch of dangerous, severe storms impacting millions. Folks across the Midwest and Great Lakes waking up to even more snow and frigid temperatures. Along the south, relentless rain, even tornadoes are shaping up here this work week. And Mother Nature, not done yet. Our Angie Lastman has your full forecast in just a moment. And if all this wild weather is giving you a case of the winter blues, don't fear about it, because we've got some tips to help you look a little bit to brighter skies and fight back against seasonal depression. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, later in the hour, we are celebrating 50 years of SNL musical guests ahead of Sunday's anniversary extravaganza by talking to the act who started it all.
Look at that. So cool. We're just
so much going on.
I know. There really is.
We begin this hour, Savannah, in Washington with President Trump's controversial plan to persuade federal workers to resign. Now it's back on track.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here, too. Yesterday, a federal judge ended the freeze on the offer of mass buyouts to millions of federal workers. This is after initially halting that Trump plan. Well, labor unions representing government workers had argued the White House did not have legal authority to make those offers. It also all comes as the president says he has spoken with Russian President Vladimir Putin about ending the nearly 3-year-long conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We have NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander joining us with the latest developments on all of this. Hi, Peter. Good morning.
Sam, Savannah, good morning to both of you. President Trump just a short time ago announcing that he's going to roll out a new round of reciprocal tariffs today, matching higher rates that other countries charge to import American goods. Now back to that federal judge ruling that you were just talking about, allowing the Trump administration to move forward implementing its buyout program for federal employees. This is a major win for this president, for this White House, that had seen many of its early efforts to slash the federal workforce stalled in court. This morning, President Trump and billionaire Elon Musk's plan to reshape the federal government entering a new phase.
We want to restore rule of the people.
The Trump administration closing the window for its program offering deferred resignations to federal employees after a judge cleared the program's way yesterday. The White House says 75,000 workers have taken the deal, though NBC News cannot independently verify that number. The administration had warned that those who did not take its buyout offer could face layoffs.
This is what President Trump campaigned on doing.
And overnight, Musk previewing even more dramatic changes.
We do need to delete entire agencies.
Government agencies cannot be shut down without Congress's approval. But the president has given Musk tremendous power.
I'm going to ask Elon to tell you a little bit about it.
And Musk's team at the so-called Department of Government Efficiency has gained access to major parts of the U.S. government, including the Treasury, and recently the Department of Education that provides help to schools throughout the country. President Trump has called it a con job, and CNBC reports, according to department employees, that Musk's team there has taken over leaders' offices, even setting up noise machines to muffle their voices. All of it as Democrats object.
It's a demolition plan that's going to run through our government.
The administration is already scaling back at places like NASA, according to an internal memo, and staff says cuts of newer employees are happening at the Department of Housing and Urban Development that oversees rental help for Americans and assists low-income families. And yesterday, the White House instructed foreign service workers to follow the president's priorities or face discipline or separation, as Musk weighs in on foreign policy overnight.
With the new administration, there's less interest in interfering with the affairs of other countries. America should mind its own business.
Hours after President Trump in the Oval Office spoke about his involvement with the Russia-Ukraine war negotiations, saying he'd spoken with both countries' leaders and would meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
I just want to see people stop getting killed.
President Trump also appearing to rule out NATO membership for Ukraine, which would be a major victory for Putin.
I don't think it's practical to have it, personally.
This was a particularly striking turn of events as the war approaches its third anniversary there, with President Trump speaking with Vladimir Putin before speaking to Ukraine's president, even inviting Putin, not Zelensky, here to the White House. This is exactly what Ukraine did not want. The Russians in the ear of President Trump shaping this conversation before the negotiations even begin. Still to be determined right now, Sam and Savannah, will President Trump stand by the Ukrainians or will he sell them out? Back to you.
So much to watch for. Peter, thank you very much.
All right, and clearly President Trump has been very busy here. Let's get more on how Europe is reacting to Trump's role in brokering or trying to a potential peace talk between Russia and Ukraine. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez joining us now from NATO headquarters in Brussels. Look, Raf, yesterday Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth basically ruled out the idea of Ukraine joining NATO. Let's listen to some of what he said.
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. Instead, any security guarantee must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
That seems to be a pretty critical point here, Raf. Hegseth has been meeting with NATO's Secretary General today. So how are those talks going, and how is NATO members reacting to this major shift right now in U.S. policy?
Sam, I can tell you here at NATO headquarters, there is frustration bordering on anger over the direction that the Trump administration's policy on Ukraine has taken over the last 24 hours. A European official tells me the NATO allies were blindsided by President Trump's call with Vladimir Putin, that they only learned about it on Truth Social, along with the rest of the world. And there is also a lot of frustration over those comments that Pete Hegseth made here at NATO, his debut as the new defense secretary of the United States. He said, as you played, that Ukraine will not become a member of NATO as part of this peace deal, but also said that Ukraine should give up its ambitions of taking back the territory it has lost to Russia, not just since the full-scale invasion in 2022, but also Russia's initial incursion into Ukraine in 2014. Germany's defense minister, speaking in unusually blunt terms to criticize the United States, said the Trump administration is making concessions to Putin on Ukraine before these negotiations have even begun. The consistent position of the NATO allies is that they want to put Ukraine in the strongest possible seat going into these negotiations. That is not a position that we have heard so far from the United States, and there is a lot of questions and a lot of concern about what American support for Ukraine is going to look like going forward. Guys.
Especially, Raf, after the fact that we know that President Trump and President Putin had this phone call. What more do we know about that call as well as the call with Zelensky?
So it was a long phone call, Savannah, between President Trump and President Putin. It was 90 minutes, according to the Kremlin. You saw that readout, if you can call it that, on President Trump's Truth Social. He seems to say it was a very positive call, that he believes that there is a lot of scope for these two countries to cooperate going forward. He raised the idea of the Russian president coming to the White House. He talked about going to Russia. He said it's likely, though, that the first encounter will happen in Saudi Arabia. Now, he spoke to President Zelensky after he spoke to Putin. That is not something the Ukrainians are happy about. He did not extend an invitation to the White House to President Zelensky. Zelensky, in his nightly address in Ukraine, trying to put a brave face on it, saying that these were constructive talks and that there are more to come. Guys.
Yeah, emphasizing Russia's role first here. A pretty interesting development. Raf, thank you so much.
All right, let's come back here at home and to Capitol Hill now, where one of President Trump's controversial cabinet nominees is set to be confirmed by the Senate later today.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for weeks now. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on tap to become the next Secretary of Health and Human Services. Is coming after all kinds of pushback from lawmakers over his anti-vaccine views.
We've got NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles joining us with the latest on this. Ryan, good morning. Thanks for being here. So walk us through what we can expect today during the Senate vote, and specifically Democrats' efforts to stop RFK Jr.'s vote from moving forward. Is there any hope there?
Savannah, the short answer is no, but Democrats have put every procedural hurdle they possibly can in the way of this final confirmation vote, which is one of the reasons that it's not happening until around 10:30 this morning Eastern time. Democrats took to the Senate floor right until 1 o'clock in the morning overnight to try and make the case against Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and why the Republicans in the Senate should not vote to confirm him. But ultimately, that will be fruitless. It appears that Kennedy has at least assuaged the concerns of many of these moderate Republicans about his anti-vaccine stance, despite the fact that he had that very rocky confirmation hearing where he refused to deny or walk back his long debunked claims about the ties between vaccines and autism. He also refused to really in any way, shape or form make senators completely confident that he would not be someone that would stand in the way of vaccine use throughout the country and would look at the use of vaccines with too much of a critical eye. So it looks as though he has the votes to get this done. He could lose up to 3 Republican votes and still be confirmed. But at this stage, guys, it looks as though he may not even lose that many votes and will be the next Health and Human Services Secretary.
Yeah, and that's actually a great segue, Ryan, because it seems like Trump is getting his way with most of these really controversial picks. So what can we expect in terms of key votes other than this to expect today and moving forward? Any challenges getting in the way of other Trump cabinet nominees moving forward?
Yeah, it's such a great point, Sam, because when he rolled out his list of cabinet administration officials, there were a number of these cabinet picks that looked like they would have a very difficult and rocky path to confirmation. So far, only one of his original picks, Matt Gaetz, pulled himself out of consideration. Every other pick has cruised to their confirmations. The next up in that vein will be Kash Patel, who's his pick to be the director of the FBI. Patel will have his vote in the Judiciary Committee today. This will be a lengthy hearing because senators will have the opportunity to make their points as to why they're voting yes or no. So it could take up to 2 hours before he's voted out of committee. But he's expected to be voted out of committee. This despite the fact that Kash Patel was a major player in Donald Trump's attempts to overturn the 2020 election. He's also been someone who has talked openly about how the Justice Department could be used as a means of retribution for Donald Trump against his political enemies. Now, he told senators in his hearing that the Justice Department will be apolitical, that he will go out of his way to take politics out of the Justice Department. That appears to be enough for Republicans, as he, too, appears to be on the verge of being confirmed and as the next director of the FBI. Guys.
So lots going on about a lot of departments across the government, including the Department of Education. Ryan, thank you very much.
Yeah, a lot of turbulence in Washington. Thank you, Ryan. Turbulence on the weather front as well. This morning, millions of people are waking up to another round in a relentless parade of punishing winter storms. Residents across the Great Plains and Midwest are starting their day, no surprise, with more snow and plows. Meanwhile, the South is dealing with heavy rain, flooding, and tornadoes. As if that's not enough, yep, a third storm system is already taking shape. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa in Chicago with the very latest, always front and center of this. Maggie, good morning. Hopefully you're staying warm out there.
Hey, Sam, relatively speaking. We don't have to talk about that, though. But as you point out, Chicago is newly snow covered. I mean, get this. Everything behind me fell in the last 24 hours. There was nothing on the ground this time yesterday. So parts of the Midwest, much of the Midwest, as you can imagine, roads, highways, air travel, a mess. And down south, as you said, they're cleaning up once again as this whirlwind week of winter weather continues. From widespread whiteout to sudden and intense flooding, even multiple twisters down south.
Hey, it hit the ground out here.
This week's relentless severe weather isn't letting up.
This definitely feels like the most this winter.
I didn't know snow could fall that fast.
Chicago streets quickly turning into a slushy mess with drivers caught off guard.
I slid and wobbled twice.
Great.
So then I slowed down drastically.
Across the Midwest, ice and snow-covered highways creating dangerous driving conditions. Shovels, salt trucks, and snowplows doing what they can to keep up, while in Virginia, fallen trees knocked out power to over 100,000 people.
Don't take any risks. Just get out of there if you need to and get out of there quickly.
Farther south, heavy rains, flooding roads in Alabama. And cameras catching this tornado touching down in Columbia, Mississippi. Crews clearing debris overnight. Millions nationwide enduring an exhausting week with multiple winter storms. This stunning video showing the roof of an Oregon school's gym collapsing under what officials say was 700,000 pounds of snow. And with yet another round of storms already taking shape, people digging out in Philadelphia are focused on one thing, making sure plans to celebrate the Eagles' Super Bowl win hold strong.
As long as we had this parade on Friday, I don't care.
Yeah, we'll end on a light note there. The good news is, guys, in Philadelphia, schools are already closed because of tomorrow's Super Bowl parade. So even with all this crazy weather, there's no issue there. I'll send it back to you.
You're so excited for them, aren't you?
Those
Thanks,
streets
Maggie.
of Philadelphia are going to be insane.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you,
should be. All right, for more on the winter storm, let's get a look at your morning news now. Weather.
Meteorologist Angie Lassman joining us now. She has been very busy this morning. Hi, Angie.
Always busy, it feels like. Good morning, guys. We've got multiple storm systems to talk about, but let's start with that one that has been impacting folks across the east. We've still got winter alerts up. They're slowly diminishing, but still 26 million people focused across New England and parts of the Great Lakes at this time. Notice, though, it's going to improve, and it already has improved considering what we dealt with yesterday. Still have some kind of straggling showers that are left over across parts of the mid-Atlantic, and some of these snow showers and even wintry mix happening across New England. Those are going to slowly wrap up through the day today, but we're still going to add some additional snow downwind of the lakes. We've got those cold winds in place, so no surprise if we pick up some kind of impressive snow totals here from now through the evening hours across parts of New England and downwind of the Great Lakes. Meanwhile, out west, that's where we start to watch for this next storm system to cause potentially a lot of problems for our friends in California. We've got 32 million people under flood alerts. Some flash flood warnings already have been issued, and we're going to see this large storm system work its way into coastal California and beyond here through the day today. So the heavy rain, the mountain snow, all on the table. And of course, we're especially concerned about those burn scar areas after those recent fires. This is going to be something we see through the day today. Likely going to see better conditions for tomorrow, but of course, the mudslides and all of that is on the table through the day today and potentially into early tomorrow. Rainfall totals highest in the coastal mountains, up to 10 inches, but even the coasts and valleys could pick up multiple inches of rain in a short amount of time. So of course, those concerns are going to be there for the flash flooding. And then we turn our attention to the next storm system. This is Saturday. This is going to start to re-intensify east of the Rockies and really be quite a mess for the east, guys. This is going to be something we deal with Saturday and Sunday. We've got the snow, the ice, the rain, all on the table for our friends basically east of the Rockies, and the potential for some severe weather, too. It'll be a busy weekend also.
It sure is. Thanks for covering it all, Angie.
Of course.
This does not stop.
Does
Thank you very
not.
much, Angie. All right, now to something that I tend to screw up a lot here. Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Thank you, Savannah, for the laugh. It's true. Nothing says I love you more than a classic bouquet of red roses. But that bouquet might cost you more this year. That's because getting them to your special someone is not as simple as it seems. Those roses pass through a lot of hands. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra is in Miami International Airport at the airport today to explain what is going on. Marissa, great to see you.
Hey, Sam. Well, I am in a sea of roses, and it might be hard to tell because these are all boxed up, ready to go. I won't read you the messages, but this one's headed to Kansas. This one's going to Colorado, Tennessee, Arkansas. So these are all boxed up, ready to go, and it is a 24/7 job trying to get these out in time for their Valentines. Who knows, Sam? Maybe one of the boxes has your name on it or your sweetheart's name on it. But they are shipping out 1,500 tons from Miami International Airport every single day this week. Why here? Well, the answer is simple. Location, location, location.
Call it the Super Bowl of the flower world. Valentine's Day is florists nationwide working overtime, arranging some $3 billion worth of flowers purchased for the holiday. And chances are your Valentine's blooms landed first in Miami. Over 90% of imported flowers in the U.S. have a layover at Miami International.
Why is Miami the center of it all?
Yeah, Miami is just geographically a perfect spot.
FedEx gave us a behind-the-scenes look as the buds, mostly from Colombia and Ecuador, were unloaded into a cooler. No tropical Miami weather here, but a brisk 37 degrees.
This cold room preserves the flowers to the extent possible.
But before they get into your hands, they're in the hands of custom specialists, inspecting for bugs and disease.
It is a 24/7 operation, so this process is repeated in probably 60 to 70 different facilities around the airport.
All of it happening fast, so the flowers stay fresh for delivery.
How long are they here in Miami for?
Just a couple of hours. From the time it goes from the flower growers and it's cut, packed, transported, and delivered in under 3 days.
Wow.
Miami International Airport is expecting a record-breaking 90,000 tons of cut flowers from January 1st to February 28th, a 3% increase over the same time last year. Julio Trias co-owns Trias Flowers in the city and says meeting the demand means extra hiring.
Valentine's has to be one of the busiest days of the year that we have, with all the flowers coming in, and especially roses. So it's probably we're getting about 50,000 roses just coming in the door.
And a dozen of them will cost you extra this year. The average bouquet of roses is now more than $90, up 2%. But it's a small price to pay to show a special someone you care.
One of these boxes is for my wife.
Now, the National Retail Federation says only candy beats out flowers as the most popular Valentine's Day gift. So, Sam, chances are the flowers that either you get or you give to your sweetheart came right through here, your old home in Miami. Back to you guys in the studio.
I so very appreciate you trying to make me look good. I think I'm unsavable, but that's the best
We're
effort
giving you a
I've
layup
seen.
here, Sam.
It was a slam dunk, and I missed it anyway.
I think I saw Gabby's name back there.
See, I knew I had those flowers ready. Thank you, Marissa.
Okay, there are
Appreciate
bodegas on every corner where you can pick them up.
There's no shortage
Welcome
in New York.
to New York.
Either. Yeah. Welcome. I just got here. We have so much more to get to on this morning of Morning News Now. That includes, by the way, Savannah, a trip going back 50 years. We've been talking about this at the very beginning of SNL's musical legacy ahead of the show's anniversary extravaganza coming up this weekend.
I know, so fun. All right, but first, after the break, Elizabeth Holmes breaking her silence from prison for the first time since her fraud conviction. How she's spending her time behind bars up next. Welcome back. Elizabeth Holmes is speaking out from prison for the first time since being sentenced for fraud and conspiracy. She tells People magazine that it's, quote, hell and torture to be behind bars and apart from her two small children.
So Holmes says that she's focusing right now on helping her fellow inmates, but hasn't given up her ambitions in the healthcare industry, saying that she's continuing to work, get this, on new patents for inventions.
Wow.
NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malash joining us now with so much more on this. Pretty fascinating stuff, Chloe. Good morning.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Well, of course, so many of us remember that bombshell trial and the downfall of Holmes' startup Theranos, which promised to diagnose hundreds of diseases with just a few drops of blood, but gave many patients false results. And a federal probe led to the indictment and conviction of Holmes for defrauding investors. Now, Holmes maintains her innocence, but has acknowledged, quote, there are things I would have done differently.
Is there anything that you want to say?
Elizabeth Holmes speaking out for the first time since being convicted of fraud, in a voice far different than the one she used as CEO of her failed biotech company Theranos.
She didn't resemble the iconic image we all remember of her time as CEO of Theranos, with the black turtlenecks, crimson lipstick, and green juices.
First they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world.
The baritone voice is now gone. She just talks in a normal voice.
In an interview with People magazine from the Texas federal prison where she served nearly 2 years of her sentence for defrauding investors in her billion-dollar startup, Holmes revealing there's not a day that she hasn't continued working on her research and inventions from behind bars, saying that she's committed to her dream of making affordable healthcare solutions available to everyone.
She doesn't think she defrauded anyone or lied to anyone. She believes in the technology and believed, one day, potentially, if she had more time, she would have changed the world, and wants to try to do that when she gets out.
Hello, Walgreens. Welcome to Theranos.
In a case that riveted the public and inspired a TV series and documentary. Patients who used Theranos' medical devices for blood tests testified that they received false diagnoses for miscarriages and diseases like HIV. Following a nearly 4-month trial, Holmes was found guilty of fraud and sentenced to 11 years in prison, which has already been reduced to 9 for good behavior. Holmes is expected to be released in 2032, and she continues to appeal her sentence. In the meantime, Holmes' daily life looks far different than during her years as a biotech trailblazer. By 8 a.m., Holmes begins her work as a reentry clerk, helping women inmates write resumes and prepare to apply for government benefits upon their release from prison. She also teaches French classes. Twice a week, she sees her 2 young children and her partner, Billy Evans. Holmes' first child was born just before her trial began, and her second 3 months before she reported to federal prison. Their time together, the highlight of Holmes' days behind bars, saying goodbye the hardest part.
Holmes and her co-defendant, Sunny Balwani, were also ordered to pay $452 million in restitution. Holmes' attorney did not respond to NBC News' request for comment. But Holmes says that she's speaking out now because she feels passionately about advocating for other prisoners, especially other mothers separated from their children. In fact, one thing that Holmes pointed out to the interviewer from People magazine was that the lactation rooms in the prison, Holmes says that they actually created those after she spoke with the prison warden about providing a space for new mothers like her to breastfeed privately while in prison. And she is still passionate about trying to work in the healthcare industry, but obviously she's not allowed to do that as part of her sentence.
There was a time when she was going to be the next Steve Jobs and fooled all of these investors.
And she was worth like billions, and now she's worth zero.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Chloe, thank you so much. Certainly a talker.
All right, international headlines now, Savannah, starting with breaking news this morning out of Munich, Germany, where a car plowed into a crowd, injuring dozens of people.
Yeah, NBC's Matt Bodner is following that into the world news for us. Hey, Matt, good morning. What do we know now about that incident?
Savannah, Sam, good morning. At least 28 are injured, 2 of them critically in Munich this morning. Authorities say that some of the injured are in life-threatening condition. The driver of the car was a 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker, and he was detained on the scene. The incident took place at the scene of a rally organized by a local labor union. Police shot at the vehicle before ultimately detaining the driver. It's not yet clear if the rally was specifically targeted. Munich this weekend is hosting the annual Munich Security Conference, and this is one of the most important international political events of the year. Vice President J.D. Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, for example, are set to arrive in Munich today for that event. Moving along now to the International Olympic Committee. The International Boxing Association says that it will file a criminal complaint against the Olympic Committee for allowing 2 female boxers, that would be Algeria's Iman Khalif and Taiwan's Lin Yuting, to compete and win gold medals in last year's Paris Olympics. Both boxers, who were assigned female at birth and identify as women, were in full compliance with the IOC rules and insisted they are not transgender athletes. The IBA, which is Russian-led, disqualified both boxers from the 2023 World Boxing Championships, and that was for failing unspecified eligibility tests. We'll wrap up this hour in Japan, where more than 120 teams fought against each other in a massive snowball fight tournament over the weekend. The rules are simple. Make snowballs, attack the other guys. Each hit scores a point. The most points at the end of 2 minutes wins. The exciting news is that this is a recognized, organized, and standardized sport in Japan. It has an official sporting body, and they want to take this to the Winter Olympics one day. Back to you guys.
What? I got to tell you something. Like, I was covering snow in D.C. recently, Matt, thank you so much. And there was just this big snowball fight that developed among, like, adults in the middle of it. I wanted to, but I will say, you can't overstate how fun it is, even, you know, when you're 30s, 40s, whenever.
Sure, but
throw a good snowball.
But Olympic?
Yeah, why not? It's a skill, Savannah.
How would that be judged? It sounds like it could go the way of breakdancing.
I think we can be competitive.
Could go sideways.
All right, thanks, Matt. Coming up, we've got a pretty concerning health alert for you this morning.
Yeah, most certainly after the break, how one small Texas community is handling a measles outbreak in school-aged kids, and what parents need to know to keep their family safe. Stay with us. And welcome back. We have a health alert to tell you about this morning, as a measles outbreak is now spreading across a specific county in Texas. At least 24 cases have been confirmed in Gaines County, but health officials warn the actual number could be much higher than that. Most of those affected are school-aged children. The small West Texas community has one of the state's highest vaccine exemption rates, so immediately your alarms go up. NBC News medical reporter Erica Edwards joining us now from Covenant Children's Hospital in Lubbock, Texas. Man, this is a little bit alarming here, Erica. So there's at least 24 reported cases, but health officials warn the true number could be in the hundreds, maybe. How is the county in Texas handling this growing outbreak?
Yeah, good morning, Sam. So I am here, as you said, in front of Covenant Children's Hospital in Lubbock, Texas, where they have treated nearly a dozen of those 24 cases known so far. In the past 2 weeks, kids are coming in, they're being hospitalized because they're having trouble breathing and they need that extra oxygen support. Now, all of the cases here are from Gaines County, Texas, which is about an hour southwest of here. I went there yesterday to visit a testing site. The EMS workers there say that kids are coming in with fever, that telltale rash. But the reason that there's a fear that this could grow is because, first of all, it takes about up to 2 weeks for symptoms to develop after a person is exposed, and also just how incredibly contagious this virus is. You can walk into a room 2 hours after a person who's infected has been there and become infected yourself if you're not vaccinated. That's just how sticky this virus is. It just sits in the air for so long. And all of these cases are in kids who are unvaccinated. Sam.
Right. And Erica, to state the obvious here, measles is avoidable with a vaccine, right? So vaccine hesitancy is at some of the highest levels in the country. During the 23-24 school year, nearly 14% of school-age children in Gaines County had a vaccine exemption. How much of a difference did that make in this case from what we know? And what are people on the ground, Erica, telling you about why they chose not to vaccinate their children?
Yeah, that nearly 14% number is huge when you consider that the national number of vaccine exemptions for kindergartners is 3.3%. Now, this group in Gaines County is a small, rural, very private community, largely unvaccinated. There is a lot of mistrust in this area. One of the EMS workers I was talking with yesterday said that some are coming in wondering if this outbreak is just sort of a ruse to have people come in to get their shots. But, you know, Sam, at the end of the day, parents want what's best for their kids. And pediatricians here are having a lot of really tough conversations. Unfortunately, right now, you have parents who are watching their children suffer from a vaccine-preventable illness.
Yes, and Erica, obviously we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that this particular outbreak is coming as President Trump's highly controversial pick for HHS Secretary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is expected to be confirmed today. So how does that sort of factor into the conversation here? How could that confirmation impact public perception and public health efforts?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So it is up to the states to make their own vaccine mandates or vaccine exemptions. However, as head of HHS, Mr. Kennedy would also be over the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Of course, the CDC is the agency that makes vaccine recommendations. There's a little bit of concern that that process could be altered in some way. The CDC also provides the bulk of funding to states and resources. The CDC just recently sent 2,000 doses of MMR vaccine to Texas. Sam?
All right, Erica Edwards covering a lot of ground for us this morning. Thank you so much from Gaines County. Joining us now for more on this conversation is Dr. Omer Awan. He is a physician and the senior public health contributor at Forbes. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us. You know, this is obviously very concerning for parents with measles spreading in Gaines County and health officials warning right now that the real number of cases of infections could actually be higher than what we're hearing. How concerned should parents be about the potential for wider transmission here?
Very concerned, Sam. And the reason why is because measles is so contagious. I mean, you can get measles just by being in close contact with an infected person. You can get measles just by breathing in the same air of someone that's infected, and also by touching contaminating surfaces. So this is a very contagious disease. Parents should be very worried. And also there are devastating consequences from measles. I mean, a small percentage of patients can also get pneumonia, which is infection of the lung, and they can also get something called encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain. As you saw, some will get hospitalized and even some will die from this. So this is very concerning, and I hope parents are all concerned about this measles outbreak.
Yeah, some really serious potential complications here, doctor. So what are the common measles symptoms that parents should be really watching out for, and what steps can families take right now, even if their child hasn't been vaccinated yet, to protect themselves from the virus? And just a warning, we're going to be showing the symptoms on a screen here in just a second, but lay it all out for us if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So for most individuals, symptoms are mild. Typically, you can have a high-grade fever, sore throat, cough, runny nose. In a small percentage of patients, you can get things like I talked about, pneumonia, infection of the lung, or even encephalitis, swelling of the brain. But the most important thing to remember here is that all 24 people that got this or documented in Texas were all unvaccinated. So this is entirely preventable. So what needs to be done is everyone needs to get vaccinated. If we get vaccinated, then we can prevent outbreaks, and we can certainly prevent these adverse complications from measles.
Doctor, real quickly, how do you persuade parents then that are concerned about, that have vaccine hesitancy, that you need to do this, that it's science and it's important to keeping their kids safe?
Well, it's all about the data, just being transparent about the data. We know that if you get 2 doses of the measles vaccine, that provides 97% protection against measles. That essentially means you're not going to get measles if you get vaccinated. And all of these patients that have documented measles are all unvaccinated. So the numbers don't lie, Sam. And I think it's critical that we are very transparent about how we communicate this. And hopefully this provides an impetus for parents to go ahead and get their kids vaccinated.
Just incredibly important information this morning. Dr. Omer Awan, thank you so much for that. Coming up next, we are also watching your mental health here on Morning News Now. All this wild winter weather can definitely take a toll on your mood. But when we come back, we've got some tips here on how you can try to find some brighter skies, so to speak, while fighting back against seasonal depression. Stay with us. That story is next. And welcome back. We're taking a look right now at the wave of backlash against Kanye West for his recent anti-Semitic action stemming from a Super Bowl ad that you may have seen, directing people to a website where he was selling shirts with swastikas. Now, a new fake video calling out his hate speech is also stirring controversy. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa is here now with the very latest on all of this complex story. Emily, good morning.
Yeah, there's a couple of controversies here. The now viral video shows some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry taking Kanye West to task for his hateful message. The problem, the video was generated by artificial intelligence, and some of the celebrities are not happy with their unauthorized appearances. We want to warn you that this story contains material that is both offensive and disturbing.
This new video has been seen millions of times across social media, meant to fight back against Kanye West's anti-Semitism, which recently came to a head after a widely rebuked Super Bowl stunt. The video showing more than a dozen well-known celebrities wearing a shirt which were blurring, featuring his name below a middle finger with a Star of David. And while many of these celebrities have been outspoken against hate speech, this video is fake. A disclaimer on the post reading, the content was digitally created or altered with AI to seem real, apparently without the actor's consent. In a statement, Johansson saying while she has no tolerance for anti-Semitism or hate speech of any kind, she believes we must call out the misuse of AI, no matter its messaging, or we risk losing a hold on reality. The controversial video comes on the heels of an anti-Semitic stunt by Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, directing viewers in a Super Bowl ad to go to his clothing website. After the big game, the site only offered a single item, a white T-shirt with a swastika. The commercial only aired in a few markets, but on the biggest advertising stage of the year, building on a flurry of recent anti-Semitic remarks on social media by Ye, praising Hitler and calling himself a Nazi. Ye's views have been known for years. He's been restricted from some social media platforms on and off in the past, and Adidas and other brands ending their relationships with the rapper in 2022 after he spread conspiracy theories and posted anti-Semitic comments. Friend star David Schwimmer posting, "I don't know what's worse, the fact that he identifies as a Nazi or the fact that there is not sufficient outrage to remove and ban him from all social media at this point." The head of YouTube Music joining the backlash, writing in an open letter to Kanye West, "Your words and actions are not only offensive, but triggering to all decent people who recognize the horrors of the Holocaust and the suffering of millions."
In a statement, one of the creators behind the viral video acknowledged the necessary dialogue around AI, but said he hopes the normalization of anti-Semitism and hate speech is not lost in the debate over technology itself. A spokesperson for Ye, by the way, said that he deactivated his X account, but this morning it appears it's back online.
He's back on X now after all this.
It appears that's the case.
And you can also understand why the people depicted in this video would be upset. But to your point and what you just said in your tag, like the issue here is the anti-Semitic speech. So, and that's being condemned.
Yes, and there's so many layers of controversy of this, but absolutely the hate speech front and center here is the biggest issue.
Complicated story. Emily, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Sam.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to switch gears for a second here to the latest read on unemployment in America. CNBC's Silvana Henao has all the numbers for us and some other dollar sign headlines. Silvana, good morning.
Sam, good morning to you. We are just getting the latest snapshot on the economy and the job market. The number of Americans seeking jobless benefits falls as employers continue to hold on to workers. So last week, down 7,000 to 213,000 versus what economists were expecting was about 215,000 new applications to be filed. Now, weekly applications for jobless benefits are considered representative of layoffs. Meanwhile, Google is testing AI to help estimate the age of its users. Now, this could allow the company to offer more age-appropriate experiences across its platforms. The model will use existing data, including sites users visit and how long they've had an account. Now, when it detects someone maybe under 18, Google will notify them it's changed some of their settings and offer ways to verify their age, maybe with a selfie or a government ID. And you can get your food fix with several deals on Valentine's Day. Papa John's has a heart-shaped pizza through February 16th for $11.99, while Pizza Hut's similar deal runs through the 17th. Chick-fil-A is offering a heart-shaped tray with both sweet and savory options, including 30-count nuggets and 12 fudge brownie halves. While supplies last through February 22nd, and Baskin-Robbins has a heart-shaped Crazy For You ice cream cake for $21.99 and a special Love Potion number 31 ice cream flavor made with the chocolate and raspberry ice cream. There you have it.
Sweet deal for your holiday.
Lots of
Savannah,
sweet deals.
Thank you so much.
You
We
got it.
appreciate that. Well, as the sun sets early and cold temperatures keep people indoors, many may find themselves struggling with seasonal depression. So many folks certainly can relate to this. It's a type of depression that usually occurs during the fall and winter months. Symptoms may include increased fatigue and weight gain. Fortunately, experts say that there are a number of strategies to combat these feelings, including increasing exposure to light and socializing with others. For more on how to beat the winter blues, we're going to bring in Nora Tobin this morning. She's a certified integrative health coach, executive performance coach, and CEO of Nora's Naturals. Nora, thank you so much for being with us. And obviously, this is something so many people can relate to. Tell us more about why the lack of exposure to natural light, it sounds so simple, in the winter affects our moods and how we can counteract that.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, and thank you so much for having me. Our moods are quite affected by our circadian rhythm. So our circadian rhythm is our body's 24-hour clock, and it regulates different neurotransmitters to the brain, as well as hormones such as serotonin, that feel-good hormone, as well as melatonin, which actually gives us that sleepy effect. And it can dysregulate or create an imbalance in our cortisol, which is our stress hormone. So we could feel a little bit more tired and wired at this time of year. We can certainly feel that lack of boosted mood, and it can really affect our sleep. So ways to combat this will be, number one, regulating light. So light plays a huge role in that circadian rhythm function. So first thing in the morning, we actually want to experience brighter light. So that could be hopefully sun, but at this time of year, it's hard to find that bright sun. So simply just turning up those screens, turning the light on those screens high up, getting that overhead light in your house or in the office, that's all really helpful to be admitted into the eyes and increase that production of serotonin. In the evening, we want to actually do the opposite. So in the evening, we want to lower the light on the screens, as well as try to turn off those lights that are overhead in the house.
And it's interesting, not a lot of light to be had right now these last few weeks, really, with all the storms coming in, but totally understand your point here. And Nora, people might overload their schedules to try to avoid those feelings of isolation that winter can bring on. But you're saying a busy schedule isn't always a good thing. What tips do you have in terms of just balancing all of this?
Certainly. Routine can be such a wonderful thing for not only our productivity, but also enhancing our mood. So one thing that actually has helped me, and I've shared this with my clients, it's been a great productivity tool as well as just a wonderful release for happiness, is first thing in the morning, take 2 minutes to write a few pages of really anything you want to release for the day. So whether that's something that happened the day before that doesn't really serve you anymore, intentions for the day, certainly goals can be helpful at this time, or simply just stating something you're grateful for. This can be a great way to set ourselves up for action versus reaction in the day. Active breaks. Go ahead. My apologies.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, speaking of action, right, like that's such a good segue here. So even when we know like movement or time with friends can really lift up our mood, it can be hard to actually physically get ourselves out of the door, especially, and here's the key, when it's cold out. So do you have any advice on how to motivate oneself to try to like take these steps? I know I can do it. I can go out there into the frosty tundra just to be able to get, you know, the blood flowing.
Absolutely. Well, our physiology has a direct impact on our psychology and vice versa. So when we even just take 2 to 3 minutes of movement in the midst of our day, this can be at the office, on the subway, or certainly at home. But taking those 2 minutes of an intentional break, simply standing up and doing any kind of calisthenics or breath work, if you have the time, 20 minutes of interval training influences our EPOC, which is going to help regulate our metabolism and fat burning. But really, it's not more than 5 minutes that we need to influence our psychology.
That's so fascinating that it's only a few minutes, but that it goes a long way. Nora Tobin, thank you so much for some key tips this morning to deal with seasonal depression. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Up next, we are celebrating 50 years of SNL, a half century, by taking you all the way back to the beginning. Our very own Joe Fryer sat down with the show's first ever musical guest, Janice Ian, for a conversation on the one night that changed TV history. Stay with us. That story is next. It is a huge week here at 30 Rock. NBC is celebrating 50 years of Saturday Night Live. Now, on Friday, the show's incredible roster of musical guests are going to be celebrated by a star-studded concert featuring past performers. Ahead of that, our own Joe Fryer sat down with the first ever SNL musical guest, Janice Ian. Here's that conversation.
That first night, what was the energy like in Studio 8H?
People were really, really nervous. Everybody but the crew and the performers. All of the not ready for primetime people were well named at that moment. The humor was great, and it was a lot of off the cuff, which was great.
What, if anything, did you know about this brand new show called Saturday Night when you agreed to perform on the very first show?
I knew that everybody there was going to freak out because most of them had never done live TV. I knew that George and Billy and I would be okay, George Carlin and Billy Preston and I, because we had grown up doing live TV. And I was told I would know a lot of the camera people. The only other thing I knew was that it was important enough for CBS Records to fly me from LA in a private plane to make sure that I could be on the show.
Were you nervous at all?
I wasn't nervous because I had been doing this since I was 14 and I had done an awful lot of TV. So it was just another show. I think that the show's success I know that the show's success took everyone by surprise.
How do you define the show's legacy, especially early on when you were a part of it?
I think that it was extremely cutting edge, especially for its time. They took a lot of chances. You have to think about that year. That was an amazing year. I mean, Betamax was developed. VCRs were starting to be developed. Apple started, or the Apple I. Vietnam ended. Finally, we found out what Nixon was doing. Microsoft began. Keith Jarrett did the Cone concert, which to me was more important than all of that stuff. I went to see a chorus line. It was like being in the Renaissance, and it was amazing and wonderful.
In a way, was SNL just one of the many things that define this turning point you're describing?
SNL was really brave, and it takes a lot of heart to be brave. Those players, I think especially of Gilda Radner, who was, in my mind, fearless in her comedy. Brave writers, and brave of Lauren to encourage that.
You have a documentary about your life coming out later this year, which features many chapters in your life. How does this one night, this one performance play into the story of your life?
You know, I'm 73 years old. So to be still talked about in my industry, let alone in the world, at 73, having started 60 years ago, it's ridiculously amazing. And I think Saturday Night Live has been a big part of that. The constant attention, the fact that people still remember that at 17 and Billy Preston's song were the first songs on it, that it was meant to have more music in it and to be a more musically inclined show, that it was the first time a lot of us ever got the chance to see the counterculture. If you were living in Jackson, Mississippi, you didn't see people like me very often, but there I was. I think that legacy is what's important. It's a strange feeling to know that you are part of so many people's history and they're people you don't even know. That's amazing and wonderful and strange.
And part of Americana. Joe Fryer, thank you. As we mentioned, this Friday, SNL 50 will host a homecoming concert with a showcase of performances from musical guests, including Jack White and Post Malone. You can stream all of it on Peacock at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, that does it for this hour of Morning News Now. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.